I'm Margaret and I'm a CPA, and today we're going to be going over Kamala Harris's tax returns. Look, if you're nosy or you're just watching this for entertainment purposes, then keep on watching. Before I start, I just want to say major props to her for releasing her tax returns. My initial thoughts after skimming her tax returns are that her tax returns are surprisingly basic. I think I was surprised to discover that because I thought her tax returns were going to be more complex and that she was going to have more streams of income. She doesn't have the income streams or schedules that I find that people with super high net worths usually have, so I think I was kind of surprised to discover that. I mean, I can tell from the get-go that she doesn't have any rental property. I also noticed that she could definitely take a more aggressive position in her tax returns and implement some more deductions, but she's definitely paying her fair share of taxes. I can also tell that she and her husband, Doug, are very hyper-conservative in how they manage their money. So Kamala and her husband, Douglas C. Emhoff, are married and they file tax returns together. So I'm going to be going over the tax returns today from 2019 to 2023, even though she released many more tax returns, but I just don't have time to read over that many today. Let's start off with salaries/wages. This is one of the most common forms of income that you can get, and this just comes from working for a corporation or working for someone else. From 2019, I noticed that Kamala's salary was around $157,000. And in 2020, her salary was around $156,000. In 2021, it was around $380,000, but this is definitely a combined with her husband, Doug. And in 2022, Kamala and her husband, Doug, made a combined salary of $388,836, where $219 and $171 was from her being a United States Senator, and $169,665 is from Georgetown University, so I'm assuming that's her husband's income. It seems like her husband started teaching in Georgetown around 2022. And in 2023, they made a combined salary of $393,778, where $218,000 was from the US Senate and $175,000 is from Georgetown University. My initial thoughts from Kamala's salary as a US Senator was, I think this kind of goes in line with what I expected from a government job such as this, and it makes a lot of sense. And also her husband's Georgetown salary is also kind of what I expected too. Next, let's move on to interest income. Interest income is money you receive when you deposit money into a bank. So in 2019, they made around $12,000. In 2020, it was around $8,000. In 2021, it was $694. In 2022, it was $6,054. And in 2023, it was around $50,000. They're receiving this interest income mainly from their bank accounts in the Wells Fargo. It seems like in 2023, they just have a whole bunch of cash just sitting in the Wells Fargo bank because that interest income jumped up a lot. Okay, moving on to business income, Schedule C. It says on here that Kamala is a writer. You see, I didn't know that she had books, but apparently she does have books.
The author of the new children's book, Superheroes Are Everywhere.
Let me know in the comments below if you have read any of her books. It seems like she released a book in 2019 and she got the highest amount of gross receipts from the sales of her book, so around $464,000, an income of around $264,000. In 2020, she made around $293,000. In 2021, it was around $386,000. In 2022, it was around $62,000, and in 2023, it was around $6,000. Now, I think that's what happens when you're a politician. You just end up making more money from marketing yourself as a public figure and making money from deals like book sales than you do from your actual job in the government. Okay, let's move on to partnership income. Her husband Doug was the primary breadwinner of the family until around 2021/2022. I can see that her husband had around $2.8 million of income, primarily from being a partner at the law firm DLA Piper LLP in 2019. Similarly, in 2020, he had around $1.4 million of income from being a big law partner at DLA Piper. So basically, her husband, Doug, has worked tremendously long hours throughout his whole life and climbed the corporate ladder to become a big law partner. And we can see that in 2021, Doug made around $582,000, primarily from Venable LLP. I'm assuming that's just another law firm. He didn't really have partnership income in 2022 and 2023, which makes sense because I saw that he transitioned out from being a big law partner to teaching at Georgetown. Looking at their itemized deductions, I actually noticed that they do contribute gifts more than the average American does, and they are generally to universities and foundations. I'll just write a list up here. I noticed that for Schedule D, they don't really have a lot of capital gains or losses. Either that they don't invest for long-term capital gains, which I highly don't recommend, or they have invested in long-term capital gains and just have not sold their assets. I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and say that I think they invested but just didn't sell their assets. I saw that Kamala Harris gets pensions, which a lot of Americans do not get pensions, but she does because she does work for the government. They are not super aggressive with their tax returns, and they are not as aggressively investing into things such as properties. They're not very aggressive investors. They're more focused on just making money from their everyday job, which is pretty standard for most Americans. However, I would recommend increasing some streams of income to include more investment income. I think it's really good that Kamala has books, and she does have a Schedule C where she does get royalties from books. But overall, I would say that this couple has like a pretty simple means of making income. There isn't really a whole lot going on. If you found this video interesting, please give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you all in the next video.